Top federal criminal defense attorney Jason Bassett. Federal crimes are prosecuted under federal criminal law and not under state criminal law. Criminal defense attorney Jason Bassett and his law firm represent clients in federal matters, whether that means facing the initial stages of a complex federal investigation or a full-blown criminal prosecution in federal court. New York federal criminal defense lawyer. What also makes federal charges more difficult to defend against is the fact that federal charges are rarely brought unless the accused has been watched and investigated for a long period of time in order to build the strongest possible case against their target. Lawyers defending against federal criminal charges on Long Island. Narcotics distribution, racketeering, money laundering, homicide, counterfeiting, conspiracy, firearm offenses, child pornography, computer crimes, Medicare fraud, bank fraud, mortgage fraud, wire fraud, securities fraud, investment schemes, mail fraud, Hobbs Act violations, drug crimes, white-collar crimes, federal criminal defense process in New York. Investigation. A federal investigation normally begins when investigators start gathering evidence in order to start building a case. Arrest. In most federal criminal matters, federal agents will obtain an arrest warrant authorizing taking the target of the prosecution into custody. Initial appearance or arraignment. Once arrested, federal law requires that a defendant be brought before a magistrate judge without unnecessary delay. Indictment. An indictment can occur either before or after the arrest of the defendant. Discovery. The prosecutor and federal defense attorney will engage in discovery, during which the government must disclose what evidence it claims to have against the defendant, and will seek to use at trial. Plea bargaining. The prosecutor may offer the defendant a deal to avoid a trial, which normally entails a potentially shorter sentence. Pretrial motions. Before the trial, both the defense attorney and the prosecutor have the right to file or respond to motions that may affect certain aspects of the trial. Trial. A jury is selected and after opening arguments, both sides present their cases. Sentencing. If the defendant is convicted, the judge will consider the possible punishment options and sentence the defendant taking into account the United States sentencing guidelines. Appeal. After sentencing, a defendant may appeal to a higher court. How is federal court different from state court? The federal court decides matters involving criminal federal law and alleged violation of the United States Code. FBI, DEA, and ATF search warrants on Long Island. The Federal Bureau of Investigation or FBI is the primary federal law enforcement agency of the United States government. The Drug Enforcement Agency or DEA focuses specifically on violation of federal drug laws, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives or ATF focuses on the unlawful use, manufacture, and possession of firearms and explosives, acts of arson and bombings, and illegal trafficking of alcohol and tobacco products. What is a grand jury subpoena? Two types of subpoenas can be issued by federal prosecutors, those requesting evidence production and those requiring a person to appear at a specific time and place. There are three most common reasons that you might be served with a grand jury subpoena. The investigation is focused on you. The investigation is ongoing. Witness in the investigation. Criminal defense lawyer for a grand jury subpoena on Long Island. Testifying or providing records and documents can pose grave risks to the person subpoenaed. Call for a free consultation today 631-259-6060. What is federal sentencing? Federal sentencing is done in accordance with specific guidelines that judges are required to consider. Mr. Jason Bassett treated my son's case with respect. He showed empathy and was very patient with the many concerns I had during my son's court dates. Very professional, and if I have to use him again, there would be no question that I would. Federal sentence reduction lawyer on Long Island. If you are seeking a skilled lawyer to help you understand all facets of a federal criminal case, including whether you are eligible for a sentence reduction in a federal criminal case, contact criminal attorney Jason Bassett today to see how he can help. Pretrial diversion, deferred prosecution. If deferred prosecution is agreed upon, the prosecutor does pursue a conviction if the accused satisfies certain conditions, which can include probation and community service. Criminal lawyer defending Long Island residents against conspiracy charges. A criminal conspiracy under federal law is a very broad term, and federal prosecutors will frequently bring conspiracy charges in federal cases where there is more than one defendant. Healthcare fraud defense attorney in New York. As a healthcare provider under investigation, you need to consider that not only are you potentially looking at years in prison and also the loss of your rights to bill any federal healthcare program and even to practice in your field. When it comes to criminal healthcare fraud, it is important for the attorney to determine through discovery and investigation who actually committed the fraud and who else knew about it. Opioid investigation lawyer in Suffolk County or Nassau County. Another area of concern for people who work in the healthcare industry are allegations involving the illegal distribution of opioids. Federal financial crimes attorney on Long Island. Federal prosecutors are constantly at the ready to bring charges against individuals as well as businesses for bank fraud, securities fraud, money laundering, mail and wire fraud, and others. Call experienced Long Island federal criminal attorney Jason Bassett to protect your future. If you have been charged with a federal crime, getting skilled and aggressive legal representation is critical. If you are in need of an experienced federal criminal defense attorney, call now 631-259-6060.